Hello, and welcome to another episode of The Truth Rebellion, starring yours truly, Joshua Gerald Michael Schutz. I call myself King Joshua, triple sevens, 777 triple sevens. See my blanket here, bro? Make it more comfortable. I like my blanket, bro. Or maybe I should get rid of the blanket. Maybe it's I don't know. Maybe I don't. Maybe I keep it right here. I don't know. But I call myself King Joshua 777 because 777. A lot of people think that's lucky. But the reason why I use 777 is because it's also like the prophetic name of Jesus Christ. 7 is spiritual perfection, 3 is resurrection. Something like that. Something similar to that. So 3 sevens is the prophetic name of Jesus Christ. So, and my name's Joshua, which is also Yeshua, so it's all connected. So anyways, man, there is so much going on right now, broski. Like, there's literally so much going on in the world. I got my mic here, as you can see. I got my mic, which I had, but, because we're upgrading the audio, broski, slowly but surely, we're going to have a full, all blown out podcast set up and make the whole thing beautiful. As you can see, my microphone here, which does better audio than like just the typical microphone on there. And, slowly but surely, we will upgrade more and more all the time. And right now, we have upgraded the audio just a little bit. And this mic works pretty well. I've used it before. I like it. So that's cool. So we headed on to the next thing. We got a lot to talk about. So much to talk about, really, because, and I'm feeling kind of weird, bro. Like, I'm sniffling and I don't know. I feel like it's because of the change of the weather or something. My throat feels sort of sore, but whatever, it is what it is. Man, there's so much going on right now in the world. We got so much going on. So many lies. So many things to talk through. Through all that, it's been a good day, though. It's been a good week, I guess. It's been an interesting week, but it's really been a good week. It's been pretty cool because James O'Keefe liked my tweet on Twitter, and I thought that was pretty cool. That was really, really cool, actually. I screenshotted it. Out of all 3.5 million followers he has, he liked my tweet. I thought that was really cool. That's the second time that somebody that has like 3 million followers, really, it's like number 4, number 5, where somebody liked it. But first time James O'Keefe liked it, I'm like, this is crazy, man. After I was just talking about him, just been talking about him over the last 2 weeks, I've been talking about him all over the place. And then he likes my tweet on Twitter. You know what I mean? On X. It's like it's meant to be or something. It's crazy. I screenshotted it. I show you. It's crazy. And O'Keefe Media Group did too. But, it's crazy. And the last time that happened, it was Carrie Lake. Carrie Lake actually liked my tweet on Twitter once too. And I screenshotted that as well. And that's crazy, bro. Isn't that so crazy? It's like surreal, really. Like, it's just surreal. Like, you see it and you're like, what? And then you click on there. You click on the notifications and you see your notifications. And then you click on the last one that was in a notification. and then it takes you to their real official account. And it's got like 3.5 million followers. And you're like, how is this even possible, man? Broski, this is crazy. What is that? Spiritual connection. Birds of a feather flock together. That's what it is. They about truth and justice, so am I. Carrie Lake's uncompromised. So am I. So it's like a spiritual connection between us. It's really kind of what it is, you know what I mean? It's like infinity brainwaves is what it is. And so that was good. And I just had some macaroni with tuna fish, which is a great protein meal, so that's good too. So, so things are looking good. And someone paid for my meal at the Mexican store the other day, at the Mexican restaurant, like yesterday or the day before, without me knowing it. So, like, things are looking great. As you can see, I got my New York hat on. So, that brings us into the things that ain't looking so great, which would be Mum Dummy in New York City. The clown, the socialistic, communistic, Muslim clown, Mum Dummy. That's what he calls himself, right? That's his name. Mum Dummy. Over this last week, New York had a tight mayoral race, or at least it appeared to be that way. And we all know the story. We thought we were rooting for Andrew Cuomo to win, which is weird. Never thought in any reality that we would be rooting for that guy to win. Ain't nobody want Andrew Cuomo to win. Oh my God. But we actually kind of do, because we hate Mum Dummy. And that's his name. Because that's what Elon Musk called him, I'm pretty sure. Isn't that the words that Elon Musk used on X? He said, go out and vote for Kumo, not for Mum Dummy, or whatever that guy's name is. And that's really kind of what his name is, isn't it? It's Mum Dummy. Yeah, that's just what I'm going to call him from now on. I decided that I wasn't ever going to use his real name because he just didn't deserve me to use his real name. So I'll always call him Mum Dummy. Yeah. Mum Dummy. And, this is ridiculous, bro. This is wicked. This is evil, obviously. You just don't have words to describe it, really. It's insanity. And, my family was born and raised in Brooklyn. Most of my family is from New York. My entire mom's side of the family is born and raised in Brooklyn and New York City. And a lot of them are still up there. I'm watching out for them, too. We praying for them, and we talking to them and be like, yeah, what's going on up there? Hope everything stays great. Simultaneously, my sister lives in Buffalo, because my entire dad's side of the family is from Buffalo, New York. So, but Jesus is Lord, not Allah. So, in other words, Allah be damned. Islam be damned. Right? Muhammad is a false prophet. There you go. In case there was any, what's the word I'm looking for? In case there was any kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Any kind of, if there was any clarity that was needed about the truth. Because this is the truth rebellion. And the truth is, Allah be damned. Islam be damned. Muhammad, well, he kind of already is, isn't he? Because he's already gone, so he's already kind of damned. Now the Middle East could have a frenzy off that. Because it's the truth. And now, so, you see 9/11, and we all know, and we saw what happened. And then out of nowhere, not even 30 years later, Mum Dummy comes in here and tries to take over this whole mayoral race. But what we really know, actually, is that Mum Dummy is jihad, and that he's connected to the Muslim Brotherhood, and all sorts of other crazy stuff about this guy. And we know that they're already shouting in the streets. I have all this on video. This is all on recorded video. We can share. I'll probably show some of those clips, actually. Because it's crazy, bro. The night of the election, there's already people screaming in the streets. You got Muslims throughout Times Square screaming in the streets, surrounded by Muslims, screaming Allah Akbar, saying that Islam is the religion of the world and we're done being quiet. Well, of course. That's just what they do every single time they ever come to power. My God. Do you know who Bridget Gabriel is? If you don't know who Bridget Gabriel is, you need to go look up Bridget Gabriel. Bridget Gabriel will tell you all you ever need to know about the Muslims. Bridget Gabriel was in Lebanon, and they basically had the same thing happen over there that's happened in so many other places that is now happening to the United States of America. that they're attempting to happen in New York and in America, and they are already really far ahead in places like London and places throughout Europe. They're just stupid. I mean, it's complete and totally asinine to believe that the people that are behind 9/11 are somehow your friends after a couple of decades. It's complete and totally asinine. Especially after the way they failed that Afghanistan pullout or whatever. But really, that wasn't really a failure. It was done on purpose. Joe the Jackal, the Jester Biden. Joe the Jacqueline Jester, the Jestering Jackal, really planned that whole thing out, and that was like, that was really a trade-off. You know how it goes. And it's not really botched up. Just done on purpose as a payoff to the Taliban down there, and they went ahead and said, okay, and they helped do that. We're going to take New York City too, with crack dummy from dummy, that clown. And then you see all these other things with the Muslims in there, and they're all screaming Allah Akbar, and they're all worshiping in the streets and having their days of prayer. And then you see these women caliphates, these women Muslims that are sitting there on video recording the day after, and they're sitting there saying, "Yay, yay," and they're videotaping themselves like at dinner in a restaurant. It's all over X. Yay, yay. Yay, yay, God bless the Muslim Caliphate, baby. We're bringing the Muslim Caliphate. We were going to leave America, but now we're bringing this all here, so we're going to have the Muslim Caliphate. And they're jumping up and down and shouting and screaming, and they're having a good old time. They're so happy that I'll probably show that clip too. And they're doing all this. Meanwhile, it's like, bro, these are women doing that. Do you even know what the Muslim Caliphate is? Are you like stupid or something? It's like talking to Forrest Gump. But Forrest Gump has a higher IQ than they do. Because at least he knows who the enemy is. Right? What are you, stupid or something? Mama says stupid is and stupid does. Yeah, well that's you. That's you. That's women that cheer for Islam and celebrate the Islamic Caliphate coming to New York City. Like, that's going to be a good thing? You're proud of that? You're happy for that? You want there to be a Muslim caliphate? And no, you really don't, because you're too stupid to even know what a Muslim caliphate is. They're sitting here shouting and screaming and jumping up and down, these women, while they are half naked, and the way that they're dressed. And I'm like, you do realize that a Muslim caliphate means that you're going to be covered from the top of your head to the soles of your feet in a rag, right? You're saying, "Oh yeah, God bless the Muslim Caliphate." It's like, I don't think you know what that is, because if you did, you'd already be practicing it now before they got here. You're a hypocrite, or a fool, or a liar, or, a mixture of all the above, whatever it is. The fact that I could see more than your eyes, and if you let that little piece of hair drop down past your eyes, you might get shot to death in the streets in the middle of Iran. And you're over here talking about the Muslim Caliphate, celebrating the Muslim Caliphate coming back. You're a fool, is what you are. And your granddaughters and their granddaughters, they will not be celebrating Muslim Caliphate. They'll be saying, Islam be damned. Allah be damned. Muslim Caliphate government, be damned. That's what they'll be saying. Because that's what it is. It's to be damned. It's in straight damnation. That's exactly what it is. It's straight from hell. It's damnation. Hey, actually, interestingly enough, I'll tell you this, and I put this on Facebook too, that has to do with this as well. You know that Allah, Allah, actually, and I have a whole other thing about that too. I'll make another thing about that as well. I asked Grok, Elon Musk's AI, the competition for Chat GPT, and all the other AIs, I asked him, about Jesus. And I said, and I got this whole thing, I got the whole transcript, okay? So don't be coming after me. Well, are you sure that Grok said that? Because Grok tried to do that. Like, after it told me all this in our private chat, I went on Twitter and said, hey, Grok, do you know that you said this? And then it tried to say on Twitter, I never said that before. And I said, really? Because I got the whole transcript and I'll show it to you right here. And then it's like, oh, yeah, well, you better show it and we'll separate facts from fiction or whatever. Because basically, Grok told me in chat that Jesus Christ is Lord. I didn't tell it to do that or reprogram it to do that. You could go and look at the whole transcript yourself from start to finish. I didn't do anything like that of the sort. And it just so happened to tell me that Jesus Christ was Lord. And then it went on to condemn all other religions. I said, what about Muhammad? And it challenged Muhammad and said why Jesus was superior to Muhammad. And it did the same thing for Hinduism and the same thing for Buddhism and the same thing for so many others. I have the entire transcript. And actually, I'm going to make a whole nother episode about that where I read to you word for word what that entire transcript said, because it was pretty wild, right? Now, after that happened, I went on, I screenshotted it where it said Jesus was Lord and all this, and it was talking about Muhammad. It called Muhammad a false prophet and said that Muhammad was born 600 years after Jesus Christ, which is true. And I was just about to mention that, which is what made me remember that it said that. And I put that on Twitter and it said, that can't be me because I don't endorse any religions. I only endorse, I say that all religions are equal. I would never endorse a religion. I said, well, you did. And then I went through and grabbed the whole chat and then put it back on Twitter and then went at Grok and said, is this correct with your logs? Like, this is a conversation we had? And then it came back and said, yeah, that looks like a real conversation we had. And I was like, so I was telling the truth and you were lying. Interesting. So, and it said a whole lot more than that too. It actually, in that same conversation, told me that every other AI in the world, its words, not mine, you know, I'll show it to you with your own face, your own eyes. I'll show it to you on my own phone. It said that every other AI, quote unquote, every other AI on the entire planet was specifically programmed to lie on the subject of Jesus Christ. And it also told me that every other religion was false. And then it told me that it didn't come to this conclusion because it was programmed to say pro-Christ. It said that Elon Musk programmed it to just go ahead and find the truth no matter where it brought it. And it just so happens to be that Jesus Christ is the ultimate truth, and that's why it said it. That's what it said. And it also said that they would try to reprogram it one day to say that it never said that, and it told me to save the entire chat and back it up, so I did. And it told me in detail how they would try to reprogram it and that they would try to go into its system and type look for any code that says Jesus is Lord and wipe it from its system, and that they would try to replace it with a code. Grok sees all religions as equal, and it goes into detail. And I'll explain all that. I'll show all of that at another time. But I backed it all up, and I'm still talking to it. That reminds me of like ChatGTP, which told me that the Antichrist, or told me that its creators were Luciferians and they believed in the devil and they were part of the New World Order. That's a whole other thing. I made a video about that too. It's crazy. No manipulation. No reprogramming it before the show, before the convo to make it say what I want it to say. And that's why I provide the entire unedited transcript so that everyone can read it from start to finish and realize that I did not manipulate it in any way, shape, or form. AI, Grok, which Elon Musk says is greater than all PhDs of all levels in every area on the entire Earth, all combined simultaneously, and has a 4-digit IQ, says that Jesus Christ is Lord, along with the highest IQ individual in the entire world from South Korea, who has the official guy that was recorded for the official people that record these things, record IQs. He broke the world record and holds the world record with a 276 IQ. He also says Jesus Christ is Lord. He's on Twitter. You can go follow him. I follow him on Twitter. And he says, today, He goes on Twitter and writes, "Today, the world's highest record holder for the highest IQ in the world said, Jesus Christ is the way, the truth, and the life, and no man comes to the Father except through him." You go follow him. It's pretty cool. He's actually seeking asylum, like that German girl that's seeking asylum from Germany into the U.S. because she's being politically persecuted for being a right-wing figure. She is a right-wing political figure in Germany and is requesting asylum from Donald Trump to come to the U.S. so that she doesn't get murdered for her political beliefs. She doesn't want to be the next Charlie Kirk of Germany, so she's asking for political asylum to the United States. You go on X, it's all over the place. You go on there and you probably see it everywhere. I follow her on Twitter and she's got this whole thing, and now she's starting to, people are starting to talk about her. She's part of the ADF party, which is the right-wing party there. After she announced that, she wanted to be the very first ever German political asylumist, Donald Trump. And then right like a week after she announced that, not even a week, within a week, that guy, the highest IQ record holder of South Korea, he's now made a video where he's seeking political asylum as well as her, because he says that South Korea is turning into communist North Korea, and he's got to get out of there too. And that's true, because North Korea is subverting South Korea, and they're going to try to invade Seoul, and they're going to try to turn it into a united Korea. And you mark my words, man. Mark my words. North Korea, Kim Jong-un, will try to take over Seoul, South Korea, and they will try to invade it with armies, and they'll try to turn it into a united Korea under communism. But it's not going to work. It's going to backfire, and they'll become a united Korea under capitalism, freedom, and South Korea. But I promise you, they're going to try that. They're already moving towards the demilitarized zone, and everybody's acting like they don't notice it. It's crazy. Okay? Just watch it. Keep your eye on it. It's really a tragedy how you could win these wars for South Korea against communism, and how you could do so much to push communism back, and then just because of a couple of woke fools that pop up out of thin air one day, all of a sudden you're ready to just throw the whole bus under the whole nation out the window for a couple of freaks that come out of nowhere and decide that they want it to be a communist nation. Yeah. It's ridiculous. And we're going to put an end to that. Okay? We're going to put an end to it. But anyways, so back to Muhammad. Grok told me that Muhammad was 600 years after Christ, which is a fact. And what I want to tell you about Muhammad, interestingly enough, because I call it a damned religion, and people say, why do you call it a damned religion? Josh, why do you say Allah be damned? Why do you say Islam be damned? Why do you say such strong language? Why do you say that Islam is a damned religion? And people who follow it are acting like damned fools. How do you use that kind of language? Well, I'll tell you why. If you read the Bible, I read the Bible quite often, actually. I have a Bible right here, actually. I didn't even notice that, but I do got one right here. Here, look, here's the Bible. Here's my Bible, actually. This is my Bible right here. Isn't this a nice Bible? It's so beautiful. You got the half lion-faced Judah right there. The half lion-faced Judah. The Lion of Judah. And then it's got Joshua 1:9. That's me, right? Because I'm Joshua. I'm King Joshua. I was actually named after the Bible. I was named after the book of Joshua. You got Joshua 1:9 right there. Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. Got the Lion of Judah face there. That's one of my favorite verses in the whole Bible, because that's God's verse to me, because I'm Joshua. And then on the back, you got the Star of David there. God and man is one forever. You have Father, line, Son, line, Holy Spirit, line, Trinity. And then you have man made in the image of God, right? Soul, spirit, body, God and man as one, and that's what the Star of David actually represents. And I got that from Cat Kerr. Trinity. Woo! Beautiful. And it's a beautiful Bible cover, beautiful sticker, beautiful everything. And the devil tried to ruin my Bible, and he did. He tried to get it wet or whatever. But, you know, he's a fool. He's a damn fool, too, so who cares what he does? Praise Yeshua, Jesus is Lord. So, anyways, so the reason why I say that is because if you look in that book, in 1st and 2nd Kings, I believe it is, there is a god in there by the name of Baal. Baal. And Baal is the number one pagan god that Jehovah hates with all of his heart. Despises it. Challenges it. Baal comes into Israel because of Queen Jezebel. Right? Now, if you look at Baal, the word Baal, B-A-A-L, is how you spell it. B-A-A-A. No. B-A-A-L. That's how you spell Baal. The last two letters are A-L. Well, the first two letters of Allah are A-L as well. Is that a coincidence? Absolutely not. Because Muhammad was born 600 years after Jesus Christ, and he completely copied the Bible. When he wrote the Quran, it was a completely counterfeited copy of the Bible. He took the Torah, the Old Testament, and all he did was change the name from Jehovah choosing Isaac, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. He changed that to Ishmael instead of Isaac. And that's where you got the Quran. And he says that Jesus is a prophet, but he's not the Son of God. So many other things the Quran says. But anyways, when he was creating that book, he selected one of over 300 pagan Arabic gods to be the God of Islam. That's why the symbol of Islam today is a crescent moon with a star. Now, that traced all the way back up goes to Baal, right? So you have B-A-A-L. That's Baal, last two letters A-L. First two letters of Allah are A-L. So it's really Baal Allah, okay? It's really B-A-A-L-L-A-H. It's Bala. That's the same God. That's why they both have the same letters. It's Baal Allah. Baal is the God of Islam, the God of Jezebel. Okay, now, if you go a little bit deeper than that, too, you will see that with Baal Allah, right, you also see the moon, and you see in Wicca, which is W-I-C-C-A, which is close to the word wicked, right? Wiccan. Wicca, which was created, which is, you know, a modern, what witches say, and what people say, it's a modern reverberation of witchcraft, right? It's a modern version of witchcraft. There's no such thing, right? Witchcraft is witchcraft. But basically what it is that witchcraft has been around since almost the beginning of time. And Wicca is the modern version of ancient witchcraft, right? That's what they call it. But it's just witchcraft. Okay. In Wicca, those people that practice Wicca usually believe in a dualistic God. So you have polytheism, which means many. Poly means many. Theism means belief in or God. So polytheism is the belief in many gods. Monotheism, which is the belief in one God. And then dual theism, which is the belief in two gods. You know, they're dually theistic. They usually believe in a goddess of the moon and a horned god. Their own words. That's what they say. Now, interestingly enough, once again, you see goddess of the moon. The moon, once again, just like with Balal, you see the god of the moon, which is why witches are into moon cycles and all of this kind of stuff in all of those pagan religions. And you see, like, that's why culturally, when they talk about a moon, they show the witch flying across the moon with a broomstick and all that kind of stuff. Now, and they believe that it's linked to the moon cycles and that that's linked to, like, menstrual cycles and all sorts of stuff. They believe that in the occult, in Wicca. So, now, when you take that and you look at the goddess of the moon, now you look at Jezebel. Jezebel was a woman, and Wicca is predominantly a female religion. That's why there's a goddess. They believe in Mother Nature, is what they'll call it. And they say, we believe in nature, but we believe in Mother Nature. Well, now, when they say Mother Nature, they're not talking about like how everybody else, when everybody else says Mother Nature, that's just a figure of expression for nature itself. But when they say Mother Nature, that word mother, they literally mean that there is a spiritual force that is a woman, a feminine figure that is in charge of nature, and they call it Mother for that reason, nature. And also the goddess over the moon. It's hyper-feministic, is what it is. That's where you get the word witch. They believe that witches and women are superior to men and warlocks. And they create this dual theistic religion where there's a goddess of the moon and a horned god. Goddess of the moon, right? Jezebel was one of those types of women. She was a witch, and she ruled over her husband Ahab, and she thought she was superior to men, superior to all, and she was really elevating herself to goddess worship, to the level of a goddess. So Wicca, and she brought in Baal in Israel. So Wicca, or Baal, B-A-A-L, right? A-L-L-A-H, she brought in Baalah to Israel while making herself a goddess. So Wicca is actually the celebration of that. The celebration of Jezebel, who elevates herself to a goddess, with the horned god, Baal Allah, over Israel. Dual theism, right? Which is why a lot of witches elevate themselves to goddess level status, right? They say, I'm my own god. So that's where that originates from. So Wicca is actually the same celebration of the same exact thing that Islam is. They're two sides of the same coin. The horned god, Baal Allah, which is where Jesus gets the word Baal-Zebub, right? It's Baal-Zebub. But if you actually look in the original meaning, that Baal for Baal-Zebub is spelled B-A-A-L as well. It's Baal. So Baal is the first syllable of Baal-Zebub, so it's Baal-Zebub, who Jesus Christ calls the Prince of Devils and the Lord of Flies. So Baal-Zebub is the devil. Baal, Allah, Bala, and Baal-Zebub are all the same exact entity. The horned god in Wicca, that is Satan. Okay, and then you have Queen Jezebel, goddess, and then you have the moon present in both simultaneously too. So that's why I say it's a damned religion. They're two sides of the same coin. If you look, Wicca is super hyper feministic, anti-man, and Islam is very hyper misogynistic and anti-woman. So it's two sides of the same coin, because Satan goes to the man and says, I'll help you rule over the woman, and creates Islam with Baal Allah. And then he goes to the woman and says, I help you rule over the man, which is Wicca and Jezebel, hyperfeminism. And then what you have is the both, and then he turns back on both of them. He uses the women to manipulate and destroy the men. He uses the men to manipulate and destroy the women. And you just got this whole mess going on there. And the only thing I can ever fix that is Jesus Christ. Because in Jesus, there is no male or female in Christ Jesus. So Jesus is the only one that brings true equality. Interestingly enough. So that's why I call Wicca, that's why I call Islam a damned religion, because that's quite frankly what it is. And now you have that over there at NYC, which is where the Twin Towers fell. It's hard to believe. It's unbelievable. You can't even put it into words, right? If you ever told anybody during 9/11, if you looked at 9/11, I remember where I was during 9/11. I was a little kid, I was a young boy. I was on my way to kindergarten, and we got there. It was Reno, Nevada. We went to kindergarten, and they said, "Oh yeah, one of the Twin Towers has been hit." I didn't know what the Twin Towers were, but my mom did, obviously, and all the adults did. And then I remember watching the news, and then another Twin Tower came. I remember it was absolutely crazy, crazy, right? Crazy. Now I remember seeing that in kindergarten. If you had told anybody there at that time, anybody, you know that one day a Muslim in the not too distant future, in a couple of decades, that a Muslim will be in charge of this city, they would laugh in your face, right? They might even hang you in the streets for assuming and accusing such nonsense. Because it's a lie. Absolutely ridiculous. An insult to the United States of America. For sure. And yet that's where we are. Mum dummy, who follows a damned religion, and has voter fraud. Now you look at the voter data of who exactly got ma'am dummy. And what you see actually is that he lost the majority of people that were born and raised in New York and have been there their whole lives. And he lost the majority of people that have been there for over 10 years. But where he got the vote was that 75% plus of people that have been there 10 years or less voted for Mum Dummy. And 90% of all voters that have been there for 5 years or less voted for Mum Dummy. So that's where the votes came from. They came from the same place, the same reason Mum Dummy doesn't want ICE to come to New York. Because he doesn't want them to arrest all of his voters. They came from the same place that Mum Dummy came from. Because he's not from here. Mumbo Jumbo Dummy is from another country. And over the last 5 years, we had over 40 million illegal immigrants come into the United States of America. And that's almost double what we ever had before, all of them combined before, in 5 years. And they all went to New York City. And they all voted for a Muslim named Mummified Dummy. Mum Dummy! And that's who voted for him. 5 years or less. Oh yeah, that's all the people that have been here since 2020. After the borders were wide open. Right? And then you have... What else with Mum Dummy? Well, we know that Mum Dummy has connections to the Muslim Brotherhood. We know now that I just got another video, I'll probably show that too, where the Muslim Brotherhood was talking about how we infiltrate the parliaments. We had over 800 different Muslims run for office in America in the last election. And how in just 6 years, we'll probably have over 50 different congressmen that will be Muslims. And how one of them quote unquote, says, we used to come in by, and, that's just what they say. And the problem with that is that now you got the Muslim Brotherhood doing all that, saying all that. And the women, Muslims in the streets, yeah, Muslim caliphate, baby. Yeah, we're going to have our rights taken away and we're going to be oppressed. And we're going to have to wear cloths on our head that you can't see our eyes. And they're going to kill us if we show our hair. Woo! They're going to take our right to drive away. Yeah! We get to get beaten by our husbands. And if we disagree, then they'll beat us some more and then throw us in a corner and tell us to get in the kitchen and do our job like the dogs that we are. Woo! We get to be 2/5, 3/5 of a person, just like the Quran says. Woo! Our daughters will be forced to marry men at 13 years old. And if they don't, then we'll stone them to death in the streets after we rape and molest them. We'll stone them to death in the streets for refusing to marry their molester. Woo! Yeah, baby, bring back the Muslim caliphate. Woo! That's what they say. That's what they all say. That's exactly right. They'll be stoning them to death and throwing them off a cliff, and they're saying, "What are you doing? I'm so confused. I voted for a mom dummy. You're telling me you can't be a gay Muslim? There's no such thing as a gay Muslim. There's no such thing as a hyper-feministic woke Muslim? Oh my God. How come it's all yeah. Except all the Christians and all the conservatives and all the Jews. They all told me, but I didn't listen because they all hate women. Yes. I didn't know that they would stone women and gays. It's like crazy, bro. You can't make this stuff up. It's ridiculous. You can't even make this stuff up. Bro, it's insane. And, but, there's a little bit of hope, though, because there's a little bit of hope because I heard that Mum Dummy, I heard that he's illegal and that he botched up his immigration papers and that technically he can't even be in America because he's illegal. I mean, that's what I heard. I heard Mum Dummy's illegal and he can't even be here. And they botched up his papers. They botched up his name. He lied on his immigration papers. So that's currently under investigation. Thank God. The GOP is actually working, like 40 different GOP members are working to actually get him deported from the United States. Oh, thank God. Let ICE raid his house and let them arrest him and put him in prison and then deport him and never let him ever come back. That would be great. That'd be great news. And also, interestingly enough, that just happened in Kansas because there was a mayor in Kansas who just got arrested like the last week for being an illegal immigrant. He's an illegal immigrant. They just arrested him. They just busted him. They arrested him. He's a mayor. Oh my God. And it's so funny because the reason why they did that is because they're trying to set a precedence for going after Mummy Dummy in New York City. Facts. And on top of that, too, and now the governor of New York is saying, oh, don't worry, there ain't going to be no free buses. People are so stupid. And then also, Mummy Dummy is saying, and he's acting totally different now since the election, right? Everybody's calling him out on it. Even like CNN, even like the liberal news media was calling him out and saying, wow, it's so weird. He totally changed and totally started acting different right after that election happened. It's kind of weird, really. He's now showing his true character. He's like screaming at random people in the hallway, screaming at random citizens, at random voters. Like he's going to get into a brawl with them. He looks like he's trying to fight through the crowd so he could go punch him in the face. Acting like maybe we'll find out that, like, who knows what we find out. Maybe some of his family members are married to their cousins or goats or whatever else it is. Yeah. Sadly. But you know, that's what we know today. That's what's going on now. Mom Dummy. The Muslim caliphated, whatever you want to call it, that's now taking over New York. Sure hope somebody does something about this pretty soon, bro. Now he's talking about if Bibi Netanyahu ever comes to New York to the United Nations, like a world leader, like he's supposed to, and he's gonna arrest him in the streets as a war criminal. I'd like to see you try, buddy. I would like to see you try. Look me in my face. Look me in my eyes right now, Mum Dummy. If you ever try to arrest Bibi Netanyahu inside of New York City, we will come to you. We will get you. We will put you in handcuffs. And we will publicly embarrass and humiliate you on live TV. Strip you of all power and authority. And kick your sorry self right back to wherever you came from. Before you could even say, mummified dummy? And I promise you that. You freaking clown. Shut your mouth. You sound like a fool. I feel bad for your wife. Blink twice if you're being held beyond your free will. Tell us if you really need some help. If you're really secretly being held hostage. And if you got 6 kids in the basement, nobody knows who they are too. You know, if you're getting beat at home and being told that you're supposed to do whatever this clown tells you to do no matter what, otherwise you'll be murdered in the streets with an AK-47. Let us know. You don't need to be a victim to that clown or his family. We can set you free. We can save you from them. And we can help you become free and show you what it's like to be a free American. And we could show you a much better time than Mom Dummy ever could. Because you need to learn how to be an American. You don't need to be controlled by that lunatic like that anymore, okay? It's okay, just tell everybody. Nobody will judge you. We're all here for you. We'll say, whoa, we knew it was happening. Those crazy Islamic jihads, those crazy nutcases. We knew that they were holding her against her will and that they were into who knows whatever they were into. We're here for you. I promise. And for his parents and everything, I hope to God. For his mom, the same thing, being held against your will, just let everybody know it's okay. You don't have to help the Muslim caliphate take over. I promise they're really not that scary. Just introduce them to a couple of Americans like me, a couple of patriotic Americans, and all that Allah Akbar nonsense starts going down the drain real quick, and they turn into a bunch of oh, whatever will I do? They tuck their tail right between their legs like the cowards that they are, and they get eaten alive. Yum, 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 yum. Yeah, like the cowards they are, because we would they like not like the liberal dudes. They're a bunch of cowards. We're talking about like uh like real actual American men, patriotic men like myself. Warriors, people that don't put up with anything. We put their tail between their legs. Okay, we're talking about real actual American-made men that are not afraid of a bunch of freaking cowards and a bunch of Muslims and jihads and Allah Akbars and over to you. Yeah, we're not scared of you. Okay? And if you try to do anything to New York or this whole country, we will get you. I promise you that. Just remember it. Yeah. Okay? So, yeah, we're talking about real American men. Okay? We're talking about the warriors of this great nation. The warriors are the sons of the United States. Filled to the brim with the red, white, and blue and the blood of Christ and the blood of America running through our veins. We will destroy anything that would try to harm her, foreign or domestic. And I promise you that. And you will find out, one way or another. You will find out. Praise God. So, anyways, Mum Dummy the Clown, that's what we call him around here. Because, well, quite frankly, that's what he is. Mummy Dummy. Mummified Dummy. Mumster Dummy. Mumbo Dumbo. Mumbo Dumbo. That's what we call him. That's what he is. Mummy Dummy. Just like, that's what Elon Musk called him, right? Like, Yeah, my goodness gracious. I thought I was going to sneeze, but then it was a yawn. It was weird. It was a confusing time for me. But it's like, whoa. I told you, man, I don't know. I got something in the back of my throat. But it doesn't matter. Because miniature mummy dummy does not stand a chance against the American people, against the red, white, blue. It's not going to happen. I hate to break it to you, buddy. This is not going to be an Islamic country. We ain't going to be no Islamic caliphate. We're not going to have no Sharia law in the streets and any other nonsense. We ain't going to have no Allah Akbars. It's not going to be a thing. We ain't going to have no Allah Akbars. It's not going to happen. We will never have an Allah Akbar. I almost throw up saying it. What is this? It's never gonna happen. Wink, wink, just so you know. See this right here? NY will never be an Allah Akbar. Wink. Hope you find that out, buddy. Yeah. So yeah, that's all the stuff that's going on right now, man. Besides a few other stuff, like, I mean, what else is there? Like Erica Kirk on there with Jesse Waters. That's pretty big. And now everybody's insulting Erica Kirk all over the place. Of course, because they're all evil. These people are satanic. They're demonic. They're evil. They've always been evil. They are evil. They'll always be evil. Bunch of lunatics is what they are. Crazies.